Finance and Policy Committee will come to order. Today is April 6th, 2021. Welcome, everybody. Well, today we're going to introduce the Omnibus bill, and I will introduce it from here. I think the first thing we'll do is put on a technical amendment. It's an A1 amendment, and it's just a correction of a number that's within the bill. So, it's the A3 amendment. It's the A3 amendment, so I'll move the A3 amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion is members, so today, Senate File 975 as amended will be the Education, Finance, and Policy Bill. It establishes a budget that are a lot of new student-centered programs that will address most of the pressing issues we've heard about from our students this year, including reducing tuition, increasing student aid and scholarships, decreasing textbook costs, addressing food and housing insecurity, and increasing mental health supports. And as we all know, the pandemic has given us some unthinkable challenges, and many of the issues we have heard about in the community this year have existed long before the pandemic and will continue to affect students until we address them. And the bill takes large strides toward reducing the barriers to completion that many of our college students face today. In addition to significant investments in addressing basic student needs, 75% of the $45 million target goes toward new investments in operations and maintenance at Minnesota State and U of M, and increasing aid through the state grant program. College affordability is a challenge for every student, and the state grant program plays a huge role in bringing the cost of college down for low and middle income students. The state grant program investment in this bill will lower the amount of families are asked to pay by 10%. Anyone who has sent a child to college knows the contribution expected of families when calculating aid is far higher than they can realistically afford. So reducing the assigned family responsibility in the state grant program will provide a much needed increase in the aid to students from low and middle income families who make too much for the full aid and too little to pay for college with anything other than breaking the student debt. There's several additional investments in college affordability programs that are made in the bill, including $4 million to increase workforce scholarships, requiring 8 more colleges to offer zero textbook cost associated degrees, requiring a 5% tuition cut for students attending Minnesota State schools and a 3% cut for U of M schools, and establishing a new grant program that allows teens who enter foster care to attend college for free at any participating public or private school in the state of Minnesota. So with that, I want to conclude by thanking all the committee members and stakeholders for bringing forward the bills included in the Omnibus bill. We've got a modest target, and we built a budget that stands to make an enormous impact on the lives of college students across Minnesota, and it is all the thanks and passion and testimony and work put in by everybody participating in the work of the committee. With that, I'll turn this over to Joan White from Senate Council to walk through the bill, and then I think we'll have Hannah do the spreadsheet after Joan does, and then we'll take testimony. So, Ms. White.
Hello, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Joan White, and I'm with the Office of Senate Counsel and Research. I will be going through Article 2 of the DE amendment entitled Higher Education Provisions. Section 1 allows post-secondary institutions to apply for and receive hunger-free campus designation. Section 2 amends the state grant program by reducing the assigned family responsibility for dependent students from 82% to 72%, and reducing the AFR for independent students with dependents by 2 percentage points. Sections 3 and 6 amend the state grant program and the child care grant program, respectively, by allowing an additional semester of eligibility for students who are caring for a spouse, child, or parent with a serious health condition. Section 4 amends the state grant program to exempt developmental education and below college level courses from counting against the 8 semester cap for the state grant awards. Section 5 establishes the Fostering Independence Higher Education Grants Program, which provides to individuals who are between the ages of 13 and 27 who are currently or were formerly in foster care with a foster grant to attend a post-secondary institution. He is required to establish the program and identify eligible individuals based on the FAFSA data. The foster grants equal the cost of attendance after deducting the list of scholarships and aid under subdivision 5. A private school that accepts an applicant must pay the difference between the private school tuition fees and the sum of the foster grants and other aid. However, the private schools may opt out of participation in this program. OHE must prepare information to be disseminated and must assist grant applicants with completing applications and applying for aid. The foster care grant awards begin in the 22-23 academic year. Section 7 simplifies the child care grant formula and increases the maximum child care award from $3,000 to $6,000 for each eligible child per academic year. Sections 8 and 9 expand the eligibility for Minnesota Indian Scholarship Program to include enrolled members or citizens of a federally recognized American Indian tribe or Canadian First Nation tribe. And it also allows for a full year of scholarship awards. Section 10 amends the Teacher Candidate Grants Program, renamed the Student Teacher Grants Program, which provides stipends to low-income students during the period of time that they are teaching, student teaching. Subdivision 1 defines terms. Subdivision 2 provides new eligibility criteria for the program, which includes a student teacher who intends to teach in a licensed shortage area or a rural school district. And existing criteria includes a student teacher who belongs to a racial or ethnic group underrepresented in the workforce. Subdivision 3 requires the commissioner to notify grant recipients of their awards and specifies how to prioritize if the funds are insufficient. And Subdivision 4 adds a new annual reporting requirement. Section 11 requires the commissioner to establish a competitive grant process to distribute initial and sustaining grants for the Minnesota State system and the U of M system for campuses that meet and maintain the hunger-free designation. Section 12 amends the Teacher Shortage Loan Forgiveness Program, renamed the Teacher Shortage Loan Repayment Program. Subdivision 1 limits repayment for graduate students to those whose further education will result in decreasing the gap in a new shortage area, modifies the definition of the term school district to include non-public schools, so private school teachers are eligible for this program, and defines terms consistent with the changes made in the Student Teacher Grant Program. Sections 13 to 21 modify the dual training competency grants. This is a program in which employers apply for a grant to receive reimbursement for instruction and training that the employer provides to students to achieve a competency standard for an occupation identified by the Department of Labor and Industry. These sections, the major changes in these sections include defining terms for clarity and also striking language that gives priority to employers who have trainees who are recent high school graduates. And this results in the employer being evaluated based on all the criteria in the statute. Sections 22 and 23 amend the sections of law governing private post-secondary institutions and out-of-state institutions. Section 22 expands the definition of change of ownership to include a school that enters receivership. Section 23 provides that a school shall be deemed to have ceased operations if the school fails to complete the renewal application after a change in ownership under the previous section. Section 24 strikes the reference to the now obsolete regional accreditation due to changes in federal law and specifies that the institution must be accredited by the Higher Learning Commission or its successor. Sections 25 and 26 require private institutions and career schools to maintain records related to the student's professional licensure for 10 years. Sections 25 to 30 modify statutes related to private career schools. Section 26 7 requires private career schools to complete a renewal application when there is a change of ownership. Section 28 defines the term change of ownership and imposes requirements on private career schools when there is a change of ownership. Section 29 addresses private career school refund procedures when a student does not complete the program of instruction. Section 30 clarifies that a notice of cancellation is the date the student notifies the school. Sections 31 to 39 amend the Minnesota State Colleges and Universities Chapter of Law. Section 31 requires the Board of Trustees to implement a mental health awareness program at each college and university by fall of 2022. This section lists the components of the program, and this section also requires the board to make grants to colleges and universities to establish a peer support pilot program. Section 32 requires the Board of Trustees to create and maintain a web page that clearly identifies basic needs resources available at colleges and universities, and also pursue the creation of a centralized basic needs online resource web page. Subdivision 2 requires the board to develop and implement a financial aid resource trigger utilizing FAFSA information to identify students who are likely eligible for assistance, such as SNAP. Section 33 expands the hunger-free campus designation to Minnesota State universities. Section 34 requires each campus to reapply for hunger-free campus designation every 3 years, and requires the grant recipients to use the funds to meet or maintain the requirements of this section. Sections 36 to 38 require the expansion of Z degree programs to at least 8 additional colleges beginning in the 22-23 academic year, and also requires the Z degree report to include information on the types of incentives developed and offered to faculty. Section 39 expands the workforce scholarship program. It expands the program to include construction to the list of high demand fields, and allows each institution to add 1 additional area study based on the unique circumstances of the institution's specific region. And it clarifies eligibility for first and second year scholarships and 1-year scholarships. Section 40 establishes the hunger-free campus designation at the University of Minnesota. Section 41 requires the Minnesota State Colleges and Universities to expand credit for prior learning for work-based experiences and make students aware of the opportunity to receive credit for prior learning. Section 42 establishes the direct admissions pilot program, which requires the Commissioner of the Office of Higher Education to develop a pilot program in consultation with stakeholders to automate the admissions process to Minnesota public colleges and universities for high school seniors based on the student's performance in high school. Section 43 contains repealers, and that concludes my review of Article 2.
Okay, thank you, Ms. White. Does anybody, maybe we'll let Ms. Grunwald go ahead and do the spreadsheet in Article 1. And then if members have any questions of the staff, they can ask then. And then we'll go to testifiers. And then after that, if there's any comments or amendments by the committee, we'll take amendments. So Ms. Grunwald, how about if you go ahead and do what you've got planned to do?
Absolutely. Hi, Mr. Chair and members. I'm Hannah Grunwald with Senate Council Research and Fiscal Analysis. I'll review Article 1 of the Delete All Amendment for Senate File 975. And the spreadsheet should be in your packets for today. I'll quickly review the spreadsheet layout by looking at the top columns. You should notice A through H are labeled. Column A shows the areas and programs in the higher education budget. Column B indicates which fund appropriations are coming from. Column C represents the 2021 appropriations from the 2019 session. And columns D and E show the base amounts for fiscal year 22 and 23, and then the tails for fiscal year 24 and 25. Columns F, G, and H show the proposed budget represented in this delete all amendment in Article 1. And you'll notice that the rows that are highlighted indicate the change items proposed in the A1 amendment or in the delete all amendment. You'll see on line 16, the bill proposes 50.34 million increase over the fiscal year 22-23 biennium. There is a 5.34 million in fiscal year 21 that's proposed to be canceled and then used in fiscal year 22. With that taken into account, the amount of the overall change over the biennium would be 45 million. So I'll start with the proposed changes for the Office of Higher Education. First on line 22, you'll see the state grant is proposed to increase by 8.9 million over the biennium in fiscal year 22-23. In the tails over the biennium of fiscal year 24-25, that's an increase of 9 million. And then you'll see that 5 million in cancellation on column F for state grant. The additional appropriations for the office are listed from lines 25 through 63. And on the next page, on line 68 through 75, this shows the changes in the Senate File 975 delete all amendment. I'll start on line 68 for College Possible. The appropriation is increased by 100,000 in both fiscal year 21 and fiscal year 22. And this brings the total College Possible appropriation to 600,000 per year in fiscal year 22 and fiscal year 23. The base then remains at 500,000 per year in the tails. Next, the spinal cord and traumatic brain injury research grants appropriation increases by 2 million in fiscal year 22. And that brings the total to 5 million in 22. And then in fiscal year 23 and each year after, the base remains at 3 million. And next, the student teacher grants increases by 1 million in fiscal year 22, bringing the total to 2.25 million in fiscal year 22. And then the base remains at 1.25 million in fiscal year 23 and each year thereafter. The Minnesota Independence Life College and Community appropriation on line 71 has an increase of 1 million in both fiscal year 22 and fiscal year 23. And that's a one-time increase, bringing the total to 2 million in both fiscal year 22 and 23. The base for this program remains at 1 million in the tails each year. Line 72 lists the new hunger-free campus appropriation of 200,000 in fiscal year 22 and 84,000 in fiscal year 23. The ongoing base for this appropriation would be 42,000 each year in the tails. Line 73 lists the appropriation for the Fostering Independence Higher Education grants, and that would be 238,000 in fiscal year 22, 3.76 million in fiscal year 23, and then the ongoing base would be 3.76 million in each year in the tails. Line 74 shows the appropriation for the Direct Admissions Minnesota program, which is 500,000 in fiscal year 22 and 75,000 in fiscal year 23. Those are both one-time appropriations. So the total for the Office of Higher Education, taking into account those program changes and the state grant changes, results in a 18.98 million increase over the biennium of fiscal year 22 and 23. So then I'll move on to Minnesota State, which begins on line 86. Line 90 shows the first change proposed in the delete all amendment, and that would be an increase to the central offices and shared services appropriation of 688,000 in fiscal year 22 and 1.3 million in fiscal year 23. The ongoing base increase for this appropriation would be 1.33 million each year in the tails. And then lines 95 through 106, which go on to the next page, outline the riders within, or the riders within the operations and maintenance appropriation to Minnesota State. And then beginning on line 110 lists the operation and maintenance changes within the bill. Beginning on line 110, the Minnesota State O&M increases is proposed to increase by $5 million each year, and that would be an ongoing increase into the tails. The next change would be the supplemental aid to non-metro colleges, which is proposed to increase by $2.7 million per year ongoing. And that would bring the supplemental aid appropriation to a total of $5.7 million in each year. On line 112, the workforce development scholarships increase by $2 million each year, and that would be ongoing into the base, resulting in a $6 million total appropriation for workforce development scholarships per year. And then on line 113, the Z degree textbook program increases by $1 million in fiscal year 22 and $141,000 in fiscal year 23. And those are both one-time funding. And this doesn't have a base currently in the budget, so this would be new funding. Line 114 shows an appropriation to the new mental health awareness program, which would be a $1.5 million appropriation in fiscal year 22 one time. And then finally for Min-State, the last change would be supporting students' basic needs of an appropriation of $1 million in fiscal year 22 of one-time new funding. And then overall with the O&M changes and the central office increase, the total Min-State changes over the biennium would be $25 million over base for the fiscal year 22-23 biennium. So then moving on to the University of Minnesota, which begins on line 126. Lines 131 through 135 show the riders within the O&M appropriation. And the only change here for operation and maintenance would be an increase, which is shown on line 139. There is a $9 million increase to the operations and maintenance for the U in fiscal year 22, and then a $6 million increase in fiscal year 23, and then an ongoing increase of $5 million per year to the O&M base. Lines 144 through 148 show the state specials appropriations listed within the bill. And the only change here is shown on the next page, on page 4, line 153. The health sciences appropriation of for regenerative medicine is reduced, so that the total for health sciences would be $4.85 million as opposed to $9.2 million. And those two changes combined, the regenerative medicine and the O&M increase would result in a $6.3 million increase over the fiscal year 22-23 biennium. The Healthcare Access Fund also appropriates $2.157 million to the University of Minnesota each year. That remains unchanged in this bill. And then the final agency within the higher education budget, the Mayo Foundation, this receives a $1.35 million appropriation each year, and that also remains unchanged in this bill. Overall, the delete all amendment has a general fund total of $3.46 billion over the biennium, and that's with the revenue adjustment taken into account. That would be that $5.34 million. And then with that taken into account, it would be an increase of $45 million over base in the fiscal year 22-23 biennium. And then lastly, I'll just touch on a few items that are in Article 1 that have non-state fiscal implications. So I'll start with Minnesota Independence College and Community Appropriation. This is on page 9, subdivision 34. And this is just directing MICC to explore plans for expansion to provide programming at an additional location outside of the 7-county metropolitan area. The next non-state fiscal implication in Article 1 is on page 13. And this would be a tuition cut for Minnesota state colleges and universities of 5% for undergraduates during the 2021 to 2022 and 2022 to 2023 academic year. The board is encouraged here to allocate federal funds received from the Consolidated Appropriation Act and the American Rescue Plan to implement the tuition reduction. And similarly for the University of Minnesota, on page 17, paragraph A, they are also requested to do a 3% tuition cut for resident undergrad tuition for the 21-22 and 22-23 academic year. And similarly, they are encouraged to use funds received from the Consolidated Appropriations Act and the ARP. And then going back to page 13, MnState has a directive on paragraph B to refund students who were charged the online differential tuition rate for online courses during the 2020 and 2021 academic year. And those courses are courses that were not offered as online courses during the previous academic year. And finally, on page 16, paragraph 1, MnState is instructed to award one-time faculty COVID-19 risk stipends to instructors, including adjunct and part-time instructors who taught in person during the spring 2021 semester in which students were present in the classroom. The board is encouraged here to use federal funds from the Consolidated Appropriations Act and the ARP to cover these awards, which would be a $500 award per eligible instructor. And then the University of Minnesota is requested to do this similar faculty COVID-19 risk stipend of $500, and that's shown on page 18, paragraph G. So that concludes the Article 1 changes, and if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
So members, before we go to testifiers, if anybody has any questions of the staff, otherwise we'll just move to you got it? Yeah. How about now? We're going to figure this out eventually. Got it? Okay, we're good. All right. I don't know if any members have any questions of the staff. If not, we'll move on to the testifiers. So, first one on the agenda regarding the A1 amendment is Commissioner Dennis Olson. Members, we have a long list of testifiers. So if you could keep your testimony to a couple minutes, that would be great for us. So, Commissioner.
Good afternoon, Chair Tomassoni and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Dennis Olson, and I serve as the Commissioner of the Minnesota Office of Higher Education. Thank you for the opportunity to once again join the committee today and share some brief testimony regarding Senate File 975. The Office of Higher Education staff and I greatly appreciate the courtesy and the positive working relationship you and your Senate staff continue to provide throughout this legislative session. The Senate recommends in the bill, in alignment with the governor, modest policy changes to improve the implementation of policies and programs at OHE related to student and consumer protection, financial aid programs, students needing child care assistance, teacher candidates, and workers impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. These items included in the bill are greatly appreciated, Mr. Chair and members. The bill is unfortunately lacking almost all of the governor's recommended investments to our public higher education systems in Minnesota, however, only funding a fraction of the recommended $46.5 million for the University of Minnesota and $77.5 million for Minnesota State. This significant shortfall in ongoing state funding support and proposed cut to base funding, coupled with tuition reduction mandates, will lead to avoidable cuts at our state colleges and universities in the future. The governor encourages the legislature to adequately fund our public post-secondary institutions and leave the setting of tuition up to the duly appointed Minnesota State trustees and the University of Minnesota regents. We are pleased with the Senate's decision to invest new funds into the state grant program. However, the changes proposed by the Senate direct the majority of the increased funds, 72% to be exact, to traditional students from families with incomes of $60,000 or above. We would like to see an investment targeted more in line with the governor's recommendation, which would direct the majority of the increased funds, 74%, to lower income students below $60,000 incomes. And we'd especially like to see that targeted to lower income independent students and adult learners. The governor recommended adjustments to the state grant program that will benefit all students, ensuring they have the adequate funding to cover more of the costs associated with going to college. The pressures students have experienced related to expenses such as housing, transportation, food, and childcare have all been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, and students need stable, predictable funding at this time. Of particular concern in the bill is the mandate to request a waiver of the maintenance of effort requirements from the United States Department of Education, outlined in the Federal Consolidated Appropriations Act, Public Law 116-260, and the American Rescue Plan Act. The state February forecast has projected a state budget surplus, and we do not agree with a mandate that will allow one-time emergency federal funds to be used to justify unnecessary budget cuts and disinvestment. We are also equally concerned that the bill omits important policy changes recommended by the governor, designed to further protect students from an abrupt closure of an institution, as well as allow current and former students to access low-interest student loan refinance options provided by the self-loan refi program. The lack of funding for the workforce stabilization program is also a missed opportunity to capitalize on a program that aims to help over 20,000 students and workers who have been most impacted by COVID-19, complete a credential, and position themselves to re-enter the workforce on a path toward earning a family-sustaining income. Investment in these students now is critical to making progress on the legislature's educational attainment goals, especially if Minnesota is serious about eliminating disparities by race. It is also a step toward long-term economic stability. All Minnesotans win when more of our population is able to complete a post-secondary credential. Finally, Mr. Chair and members, we are pleased to see that the bill establishes multiple new programs designed to address student hunger and food insecurity, support for the direct admissions initiative, as well as provide grants to individuals in foster care. But unfortunately, the bill does not appropriate any additional resources to OHE to effectively administer the new programs. The bill also lacks the governor's recommended inflationary increase for agency administration, putting even further strain on agency employees working to effectively administer the programs that we currently oversee and operate. Again, Mr. Chair and members, thank you again for the excellent working relationship between OHE staff and Senate staff. And we look forward to continuing to work with you to develop a bill that has the best interests of Minnesota students in mind. Appreciate your time, Mr. Chair and members. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody have any questions of the Commissioner? Okay, seeing none, Mr. Cervanek.
Mr. Chair and members of the committee, for the record, my name is Paul Cervanek, and I serve as the president of the Minnesota Private College Council. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I want to begin by thanking you, Mr. Chair, and the members of the committee for providing students and presidents from our institutions the opportunity to testify earlier this session, both about our institutions and about the impact of the state grant program on students' educational opportunities and their ultimate success. In this bill, thank you for taking a balanced approach to meeting the higher education needs within the budget target allocated to the committee. We greatly appreciate that the state grant program is a priority for increased funding in this bill, along with funding for Minnesota's public institutions. Investing in the state grant is important because it targets resources to the students who have the hardest time affording college. The state grant investment will help close Minnesota's racial and economic disparities in college attainment. And it will also support the state's economic prosperity by increasing the attainment of post-secondary degrees and credentials needed in Minnesota's future workforce. We are also grateful that nonprofit institutions are included in the new foster grant program established in this bill. Like other institutions, our colleges serve foster students, and they look forward to helping ensure that this unique group of students succeeds in achieving their higher education aspirations. As the legislative process moves forward, we hope the final spending levels in the higher education budget will increase substantially. And we hope the committee's balanced overall approach, one that includes making financial aid needs of lower income students a priority, will be reflected in the final higher education omnibus bill. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and we look forward to continue working with all of the committee members as this bill moves through the legislature.
Thank you, Mr. Cervenec. Comments, questions? Let's move on to Myron Franz. Myron? Whoa. Is that you? Myron, hang on. Here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna have to, can you hear me, Myron? Okay, I can't tell what you said, so you're gonna have to, you're gonna have to.
Tell that man this is not a joke. It's
Okay,
here.
all right, you're gonna have to, first of all, we have no idea what you're saying. So if you can hear me, then you're gonna have to turn off your computer and come back on. We'll go to Bill Mackey and come back to you after this, okay? Okay, so turn off whatever you're doing and start over. Okay, Bill Mackey.
Good afternoon, Chair Tomassoni, members of the committee. For the record, I'm Bill Mackey, Vice Chancellor for Finance and Facilities with Minnesota State. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony on the higher education omnibus budget bill. I would like to thank the committee and the committee staff, Tricia Lee, Tana Grunwald, and Joan White for working with us on several provisions in this bill over the past few months. We stand ready to continue to provide additional information to the committee in the coming weeks. Minnesota State's biennial budget request focused on providing affordable access to higher education across Minnesota. Our primary goal is to provide an exceptional post-secondary education to all Minnesotans so they can become the talent Minnesota needs. This budget request was focused on two main priorities: campus responsiveness and stabilization, and equity and affordability, which align with this mission and help provide direct support, both financially and services, to our students. We appreciate the support in the bill for these two priorities, especially the funding to support a mental health awareness program, support for student basic needs, and funding to expand the Z degree program to additional colleges. We also appreciate your consideration of a modest increase in the Minnesota State System budget, which, as you know, has been frozen for a decade. I would, though, like to express our concern how this bill would impair our colleges and universities' long-term ability to continue to be responsive and provide access across the state. The amount of funding in the bill for operations, along with the language to reduce tuition rates by 5%, would mean Minnesota State would lose approximately $60 million in revenue over the biennium, which continues into the fiscal 24 and 25 biennium. State appropriation and tuition comprise the majority of our revenue and help ensure our 30 colleges and 7 universities can offer the necessary programs and services to meet the needs of our students and the needs of their communities, region, and the state. Our colleges and universities are fortunate to have received federal funding to support our students, to help with additional operating costs, and to cover lost revenue that has occurred over the past year or so due to the pandemic. These one-time funds, though, will not take the place of ongoing revenue that our colleges and universities rely on to support their students. Minnesota State needs ongoing state appropriation and tuition revenue to support the talent we need to deliver high-quality instruction and services. In addition, we are also concerned of our colleges and universities' ability to allocate these federal resources to fund an across-the-board tuition reduction. There is no guidance as of yet from the United States Department of Education for American Rescue Plan Act funds, and we know from the first 2 stimulus bills that this would not be an allowable use. Also, since each of the colleges and universities receive this funding directly from the federal government, there is considerable variability on the amount of the resources that would even be available for this purpose if it is allowable in the American Rescue Plan. Chair Tomassoni and members, thank you again for the opportunity to provide testimony, and we are prepared to provide additional information to the committee at your request. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mackey. All right, let's try and go back to Myron now.
Chair Tomassoni, can you hear me now?
There, you got it. Okay, now you're working.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Well, thank you. So thank you for your flexibility.
You have absolutely no idea what you sounded like. Okay, so anyway.
I know, I'm just like,
That's why
okay,
we're all-
thank you. Well, thank you, Chair Tomassoni, and thank you, Ranking Member Clausen and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Myron Franz. I'm the Senior Vice President for Finance and Operations at the University of Minnesota. I appreciate the time to speak with you this afternoon, and it's good to see you all again. I want to thank Commissioner Olson for his comments about us working together in the future for the future of Minnesota higher education. On January 12th, President Joan Gable presented the university's 22-23 proposed budget of $46.5 million budget request above our base appropriation. As she noted then, our request is designed to address our most pressing needs as identified by our system-wide strategic plan. This is the first time the university has ever taken this approach. We offered a request that we thought was appropriately sized for the financial constraints facing our state and reflective of our priority to request the funding only necessary to continue our mission of teaching, research, and service. The amount of funding provided in your budget bill, however, would have a significant negative impact on our students, our faculty, and our staff across the system. As you know, we froze salary increases, and the majority of our employees at the university have taken temporary pay cuts this year. We froze tuition and fees. Over 2020 and 2021, we have addressed so far over $84 million of the pandemic shortfall with budget cuts and the use of university budget reserves. We have asked a tremendous amount of the people to make the University of Minnesota strong. This appropriation provided in your bill, unfortunately, will make it increasingly difficult for the university to move forward. Much of what we proposed in our budget on January 12th may not be possible without placing a large financial burden on our students. As you will recall, we included new work in natural resources, healthcare, and other significantly critical areas, including agriculture. This budget challenge is magnified by cutting the funds for the Regenerative Medicine Minnesota program, which others are going to testify about today. The financial burden to the university increases even more when factoring in a requested 3% tuition reduction, which would total another $13 million loss in revenue each year compared to what we are receiving today. Finally, your bill encourages addressing the tuition reduction through recently received or expected federal funding. However, based on guidance we have received, federal funding is only available to offset proven revenue losses and expenditures that are directly related to the pandemic. That is why we are following federal law to address the budget deficits resulting from the pandemic. Under these federal guidelines, using COVID-19 relief funds for ongoing operations is not allowable. Mr. Chair, the funding level appropriated in your budget bill will hinder our ability to further our mission in support of Minnesotans across our state. We urge you to reconsider this approach as we work together through the legislative process. We appreciate the cooperation and the work that we've done together so far, and we look forward to working to get the bill in a situation we think would be better for the University of Minnesota and ultimately the people of Minnesota. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and again, I apologize for the technical difficulties.
Not your fault. Thank you, Mr. France. So we will move on to Priscilla Iowa. Priscilla?
Hello, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Priscilla Maiwa, and I'm president of Amends, the College Association for two-year students. I would like to first thank you for including the mental health awareness program and funding, basic needs support, and funding for the hunger-free campus in your Omnibus bill. These issues were a top priority for our students, and we are grateful for your support and willingness to work with and listen to our students to find solutions to the challenges we face. In March 2020, students had our worlds turned upside down. Far too many current students and students that never made it in the door this past year. We lost something that will be unbelievably difficult to recover. We lost opportunity. We lost opportunities to afford a college degree after our employment and incomes were decimated. We lost the opportunity to receive the same classroom education that those before us received, though that was not for lack of determination and work on our college faculties and staff's part to provide it. We lost the opportunity to access co-curricular experiences on campus that help us put our learned skills into action and build lifelong connections. Put simply, we lost the opportunity to build a better future for ourselves, or had it so thrown into chaos that it would be difficult to get back on track. Students like Megan, who got COVID while she was pregnant and caring for her 16-month-old son. Megan told us that for her, giving up is not an option at this point. However, times are really tough when she has to live off of financial aid. She wants to give her children the life they deserve by studying to have a career, but the pandemic is throwing curveballs and wrenches in the way and making an already difficult situation impossible. This has been the most difficult year in higher education in decades, and we want students to come back and regain those opportunities. Then things must be different going forward. We want to be even more hyper-focused on students and ensuring their success, because students are not just an enrollment or budget number. We are the future of our committees and our state, of our communities, I beg your pardon, and our state. With provisions to push back college affordability in the right direction, provide critical workforce scholarships, expand Z degrees, provide mental health awareness and support, and expand support for basic needs like hunger and housing. This bill helps move towards putting students first and providing the support that we need to be successful. We look forward to continuing to work with you in the coming weeks to keep students as the focus of the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Priscilla. We'll move on to Kwong Murphy. There you are.
Thank you, Chair
Welcome to the committee.
Tomassoni. Members of the committee, my name is Kwong Murphy. I'm the founder and executive director of Foster Advocates, and I want to just take a moment and say thank you for everything that you are doing to help Minnesotans, and just a special thank you to Senator Ware, who sponsored this bill language, our various partners in the Minnesota Private Colleges, MNSCU, the Office of Higher Ed, and this committee staff, and of course the Fosters who took the time to testify earlier this year. I also want to share my gratitude for the committee by referring SF 1306 bill language earlier this session to be included in this omnibus bill that you are hearing today. I appreciate the priority all of you are showing for our most vulnerable students in the fostering higher education grants. This is a grant that, as you all know, which is the last dollar in grant for the cost of attendance at any accredited institution of higher ed here in the state of Minnesota, and grants the opportunity for private colleges to participate in that program as well. And this is needed because fosters face significant challenges when it comes to completing and achieving post-secondary access and success, and with the cost being the most significant hurdle. Right now in the Midwest, just 2% of foster populations go on to graduate on time with a 2-year degree. And that number rounds to 0 when we're talking about fosters who complete a 4-year degree on time, whereas 60% of their peers are getting that same degree. That is a significant disproportion and something that you are correcting today. So I want to echo Senator Rarick's earlier statements that the reason for this is family. We have separated children from their families, often for their own benefit, and it was a life-saving intervention, but we have not yet met the full letter of that promise until today. The least that we can do for fosters is to grant them the opportunity that any other family would for their children. The state promised young people a better life when they entered foster care. Today, we get closer to meeting the full letter of that promise. Because while we can never replace a family, we can't give fosters back what they lost, we can grant them a better future. This act would resolve this financial issue by braiding the federal, state, and foster youth specific grant programs into a single seamless process through the data available through FAFSA and other state programs, and then provide a small scholarship in the rare case that a foster would need one. This language will provide additional stability for foster care impacted youth, which is even more critical given the difficulty of current challenges. It can be difficult to find moments of positivity or good news, but because of your actions today, we will be able to share with our community that young people, during the most difficult moments of their lives, will be able to count on the additional support this will provide them as they pursue their educational goals and life on their own. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's move on to Dr. Terzic. Welcome to the committee, sir. Just state your name for the record and go ahead with your testimony.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. And indeed, thank you for the opportunity to address the committee today. My name is Andre Terzic, and I'm a physician researcher at Mayo Clinic. Along with my University of Minnesota colleague, Dr. Toller, that you will hear in a second, we have had the opportunity to jointly direct Regenerative Medicine Minnesota since its inception. Indeed, since 2014, Regenerative Medicine Minnesota has been successful in its mission to improve the health of Minnesotans by advancing regenerative medicine. The program, as many of you know, is unique, is that it focuses on statewide grant making and emphasizes economic opportunities for the state by developing and deploying new technologies that strengthen Minnesota's position as a leader in regenerative medicine. Indeed, Regenerative Medicine Minnesota is also distinctive in its focus on what we call translational research, in other words, funds that are made available to move patient-ready clinical trials in Minnesota and accelerate commercialization of research so it becomes applicable for patient care more quickly. This acceleration delivers great benefit in both treatment and care, as well as an economic potential in establishing Minnesota as a very epicenter of regenerative medicine in our nation. Indeed, notable research grants since 2014 have spanned the spectrum of regenerative technologies and, more importantly, have addressed the most common diseases afflicting Minnesotans, namely heart disease, cancer, diabetes, lung disorder, brain and spinal cord injury, musculoskeletal disorders, to name a few, and Dr. Tollers will elaborate on some specific examples. I would like here to underscore that while we understand that the state has limited resources, we strongly believe that programs like Regenerative Medicine Minnesota are essential to preserving and growing Minnesotans' leadership in medical research and innovation, the key driver of the state's economy and job market. Without state funding, Regenerative Medicine Minnesota and the benefits it confers to Minnesota and Minnesotans will end. Let me repeat, without state funding, Regenerative Medicine Minnesota and the benefits it confers to Minnesota and Minnesotans will simply end. We hope you agree that this program is too important to the state's scientific, economic, and public health well-being to be eliminated. As you continue the budget process, we ask that you please restore this funding to the budget. We take this opportunity to thank you for your consideration and indeed to thank you for all the support we have received over the years. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Terzic. Dr. Toller.
Chair Tomassoni, Ranking Member Clausen, and members of the Higher Education Committee. I am physician scientist, Vice President for Clinical Affairs, and Dean of Medical School at the University of Minnesota. About a month ago, we were with you discussing changes to Regenerative Medicine Minnesota, or RMM, contained in the Senate File 964, Senator Rarick's bill. So I was surprised to see the language eliminating funding for RMM versus the language we worked on with Senator Rarick to address the legislature's concerns regarding the OLA report. I do understand that we are not eliminating the program and the originating language remains intact, thereby directing the university to absorb the program. Unfortunately, the university does not have the resources to continue this work between the university and Mayo Clinic if you eliminate the funding. So as you are thinking about this, I want to take this opportunity to share two quick examples of the extraordinary work performed by the RMM. As a clinical example, Dr. Shonan Haltan and her colleagues developed a simple, low-cost hormone supplement for treatment of a graft-versus-host disease. So graft-versus-host disease is a medical term that may not seem much to anyone, but somebody who receives a bone marrow transplant, which is always, almost always, a last instance intervention for somebody with malignant or fatal malignant disease, is a side effect that leaves you with nausea, vomiting, abdominal cramps, burning rash all over the body, inability to breathe. And it is the difference between being miserable and being able to recover your function, return to your family, return to your work, return to your community. And Dr. Holton's work has changed from about a 1/4 that is able to recover from this graft-versus-host disease complication to more than 50%. This is remarkable. The second example is from the biobusiness. Dr. Tranquillo and his senior research associate, Zaheen Shaydan, have developed a biologically engineered graft that can replace the vascular components of a valve or a vein or an artery. And that sounds like a very, sort of distant to you unless you think of this being your child or your grandchild. The congenital heart disease is frequently treatable only by putting these grafts into the heart of a child. And if they don't grow with you, if they don't grow with the child, you have to come back and reoperate every so many years. So it is a difference between having one and done solution for somebody who has congenital heart disease or having numerous dozen of operations in the span of the lifetime. So this is, as many things in medicine, an example of the fact that you change the name and the story is about you. Out of the $4.35 million that RMM gets annually, $3 million, more than 75%, has always gone to research grants. So the remainder, let me repeat it, more than 3/4 have always, every single year, went to the research. Okay. The remainder, about 14%, went to the biobusiness that Dr. Terzic spoke about. And in the past 2 years, zero money went to the educational grants. And about 1.5% went to the website. So right now, we found research in health disease, diabetes, obesity, retinal disease, spinal cord injury, liver disorders. These are all requests by the state. This is when we listen to you as our mentors and guardians, and we said, these are the problems for Minnesotans. That's why we are gonna address them. So health research is the only way to answer the challenges facing us, like addiction, diabetes, regenerative disorders, and heart disease. And during this global pandemic, and Mr. Chair, as you said so eloquently at the beginning, unthinkable challenges of the COVID-19, it has been absolutely clear that we have witnessed the importance of the research, in this case, very rapid research that brought us the position of the University of Minnesota and Mayo Clinic, the state of Minnesota to be information and action hub for the COVID-19 response. And we got from crisis to a vaccine in less than a year. So this partnership with Mayo has been a powerful example of what we can do together on behalf of Minnesota, and I hope we will have opportunity to continue to serve. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dr. Toller. Thank you for your work. Let's move on to Matt Shaver, Policy Director of Ed Allies.
Chair Tomassoni and members of the committee, good afternoon. My name is Matt Shaver, and I'm the Policy Director for Ed Allies, a statewide education advocacy nonprofit. We partner with educators, families, and communities to ensure that every Minnesotan has access to a rigorous and engaging education. There are several provisions in Senate File 975 as amended that Ed Allies supports, including establishing and funding an initiative for hunger-free campuses on lines 24.4 through 25.8 that will reduce food insecurity for college students. Funding for proven services that support college enrollment and completion like College Possible, summer academic enrichment programming, and interventions for college attendance programming. Expanding credit for prior learning on lines 57.13 through 57.22. A direct admission pilot program to Minnesota public colleges and universities for Minnesota high school seniors on lines 57.23 through 58.15 that will remove a barrier to accessing college. And finally, on lines 34.30 through 35.8, amending the definition for teacher licensure shortage areas to include the largest and most persistent shortages in Minnesota, and adding a definition for racial and ethnic groups underrepresented in the teacher workforce. Doing this will consolidate and concentrate resources to support teachers where they are needed most acutely through refining scholarships and loan repayment programs to better target the people we are hoping to attract and retain more of in the teaching profession. The current definition of shortage area inadvertently qualifies pretty much every teacher, which makes the pool really wide for these incentives and ultimately dilutes their impact. So we're grateful to this committee for considering and offering thoughtful and equitable policies to address many of the pressing challenges at the higher education level in Minnesota. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today, and thank you all for your public service.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shaver. Jeff Wilson, Executive Director of College Possible.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee members. For the record, my name is Jeff Wilson, Executive Director of College Possible Minnesota. We want to thank you so much for the hard work you continue to put into this process. College Possible is very fortunate to work with you in support of students across the state of Minnesota. Your support of College Possible means that more low-income students will successfully apply for, attend, and complete a college education in Minnesota. In addition, we want to thank Senator Clausen for his support in authoring the bill. He is a much appreciated supporter of our program. Again, Mr. Chair, committee members, thank you so much for including us in the bill, and we look forward to working with you as the bill makes its way through the process. Thank you for the chance to testify today.
Thank you. And finally, Paul Spees.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. My name is Paul Spees, Legislative Action Team Lead for the Coalition to Increase Teachers of Color and American Indian Teachers in Minnesota. We appreciate the hearing you gave Senate File 797, the Increased Teachers of Color Act, led by Senator Abler, with 4 members of this committee co-authoring the bill, that gave diverse teacher candidates a chance to describe the importance of student-teacher grants. I'd like to speak today about Section 10 of the DE amendment regarding student-teacher candidate grants. We appreciate that you adopted much of the language for the administration and reporting subdivisions, numbers 3 and 4, from the Increased Teacher of Color Act, Senate File 797, but we are disappointed that the other important policy provisions in that bill were not adopted, and we have concerns about the amended language for how declaring intent to teach in a rural district does not have any accountability or repayment provisions if candidates don't. We would recommend that you include the requirement that student teachers actually student teach in a rural district, not just declare an intent to teach after, because somebody could just say, even if they're student teaching in an urban area, that they intend to teach in a rural district after they get employed. We also have concerns about the most severe licensure shortage areas not being included. according to data. While the 6 fields are important shortage areas, they are not the most severe licensure shortages in each economic development region. But more importantly, and more related to our mission as a coalition, we are very concerned that the proposed budget includes no increased investment in support of teacher candidates who are of color or American Indian. We have a widespread bipartisan agreement and stakeholder agreement that there's a severe and persistent shortage of teachers of color in the state, and that addressing this shortage would have a positive effect on closing opportunity and achievement gaps that negatively affect not only our higher attainment goals, but our economy. We can't keep doing the same and expect different results. We urge you to agree to do much more in conference committee to support teacher candidates severely underrepresented in the teacher workforce. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Spees. I appreciate it. Do any of the committee members have any questions of any of the testifiers? Okay, I don't see anything. Well, thank you all. As you all know, this is the time of year when we put together our budget bills, which is what this is, and there's never, ever enough money to put together budget bills to make everybody happy. And so we are committed to be working with everybody that was on this list today as far as making the bill a bill that maybe gets better as it goes through the process. I think it's a pretty good bill from the standpoint of how it treats students, and I think that given the amount of money that we have in our budget for this bill, that we've tried to treat the systems fairly also. And we will get a handle on the federal money eventually here. I'm not sure that we've gotten the guidance yet from the federal government for that. So with that, I will ask committee members if there's any comments, questions, amendments.
Mr. Chair, I have an amendment, a few amendments.
Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer the A4 amendment.
Senator Clausen offers the A4 amendment. How do we access these things? Okay, here they come. Okay. Do Senator Jasinski and Senator Putnam have the A4 amendment?
Not yet.
You got it? Okay. Okay, Senator Clausen. Go ahead.
Would you like vote on the amendment at all?
I would like you to describe your amendment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Quite a few weeks ago, we heard from the University of Minnesota, and they requested a $46.5 million increase in their budget. Part of that was due to the losses that they have been sustaining. We've heard from Myron Franz talking about addressing pressing needs at the university, the negative impact of the pandemic. Going into this year, I think they were facing an $84 million shortfall in their budget. He also talked about if he was to look at a 3% reduction in the University of Minnesota tuition, it would lead to another $13 million loss over the biennium. So with that, the A4 amendment increases the allocation to the University of Minnesota. It doesn't reach the $46.5 million level that they were requesting, but it does increase the allocation to more in line where the House is at, close, just a little under $40 million. So with that, Mr. Chair, I'm open to questions.
Okay, so members, I have to oppose this amendment, even if I would like to support it. We don't have it in our budget, we don't have it in our targets, and so that's the simple answer to why I would have to oppose this amendment. I don't know if any of the other members want to comment on it or not. Senator Putnam, is your hand up to comment on this or just for another amendment?
No, Mr. Chair, it's for another amendment, but I would also say that I support this amendment. Given the reduction in funding that both Minn State and University of Minnesota face, with mandatory reductions in tuition, that means programs close. That means we have, faculty disappearing in different departments and different departments going away and our education getting less strong. So I would support increased investment in both the Minn State system and the University of Minnesota. But to your point, Mr. Chair, my hand had nothing to do with that. It's for an amendment later.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I called on you. Okay. So any other comments or questions from committee members? Seeing none, Senator Clausen renews his motion to adopt the A4 amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
No.
Motion is not adopted. Senator Putnam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer the A6 amendment.
Senator Putnam offers the A6 amendment.
Has everybody got it?
Okay. Senator Jasinski, you got it?
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. Senator Putnam to the A6 amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment is a modest increase in the appropriation for the Free Campus Act. As we recall, when we first heard the bill, Mr. Chair, in fact, you even said that doesn't seem like enough money. And it really was a good step in the right direction, I think, in its initial inception. But in its latest form, the bill is also including private colleges, which is a different additional 17 institutions. Basically an increase in the third of the number of students and institutions who are going to be served by this bill. And so what I've done, what we have here is an increase in the appropriation so that it matches the funds that were given by the House in order to sort of weaken the blow of including the private schools in this opportunity and to make it easier for them to participate as well.
Okay. This is another one that maybe I'd like to support, but it's my understanding that we'd have to change even more than just the allocation here because there's some caps on these. And as far as the private colleges go, I don't think they're included in the grants. So I'm going to oppose this amendment also, Mr. Senator Putnam. Any other comments? All right. On the A6 amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
No. The motion is not adopted. Thank you. Any other comments or questions or amendments?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to offer the A10 amendment, please.
Senator Clausen offers the A10 amendment. Senator Clausen to the A10.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, the A10 amendment really adds to the allocation to the Minnesota state system. And again, we've heard from Commissioner Olson, we've heard from Bill Mackey about some of the challenges that are being faced by Minnesota State. They proposed in their presentation a few weeks ago, $120 million increase. And what we've seen over time is that, as Mr. Mackey testified that they're looking at a 60 million loss over the biennium, in addition to funding that was short during the 2019-2020 school year. I think it's important to point out that really the technical colleges in Minnesota are the major role they play in developing the Minnesota workforce. And I think there's some long-term implications if we don't invest in education at this time rather than cutting them short. So what the 810 amendment does, it increases the allocation to the Minnesota state system. It does not reach their $120 million request, but it comes a little over $68 million that is in the 810 amendment.
Thank you, Senator Clausen. Once again, if it was up to me, I would actually increase funding to our university system so we could get back to the 2/3, 1/3 distribution. But like I said, the target that we have for this particular committee does not allow us to do that or your amendment, Senator Clausen, and so that for that reason, I have to oppose the amendment. Any other comments? Seeing none. On the 810 amendment, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Motion does not prevail. The amendment is not adopted. Any other? Senator Putnam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I offer the A7 amendment.
Okay, Senator Putnam, to the A7 amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Recognizing the budgetary concerns, I also think a little bit about the nature of our conversations over the past couple months. And one of the things we've all agreed upon is the desperate, profound need to diversify and inspire more people to go into teaching. And that was a consistent concern, something we talked about a great deal, but something that I don't think shows up as much as we'd like it to in this final bill. And so for that reason, you've taken the language from the Aspiring Teachers of Color Scholarship Program in the House Omnibus bill and offered that as the A7 amendment here today. And Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask for a roll call, please.
Roll call has been requested. Roll call will be granted. Once again, I have to cite my targets that I'm being held to and would like to add more money to the bill, but at this time it is impossible, and so I have to oppose the A7 amendment. Laura, will you take the roll?
Senator Tomassoni. Senator Tomassoni.
Turn on your microphone.
Senator Tomassoni.
No.
Senator Clausen.
Yes.
Senator Goggin.
No.
Senator Jasinski.
No.
Senator Putnam.
Yes.
Senator Rarick.
No.
2 ayes. There being 2 ayes and 4 nays.
There being four nays and 2 ayes, the amendment is not adopted. Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to offer the A9 amendment, and this will not cost any money.
Well, that's good to hear. You got it here somewhere?
It's in the packet.
Okay.
Oh, it's in the packet? Okay, A9 amendments in the packet. Okay, Senator Clausen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment adds a concurrent enrollment grant section to the omnibus bill for the purpose of providing additional flexibility to the Office of Higher Education in administering concurrent enrollment competitive grant program. The language can be found in the governor's higher education proposal, and again, it does not have a fiscal implication. I really believe we're at a I really believe we're at a critical junction with the Minnesota Concurrent Enrollment Program, and let me just explain a little bit. Concurrent enrollment is part of the PSEO, or program here in Minnesota. Concurrent enrollment allows high school students to earn college credits with higher education institutions while being taught by high school teachers. School districts enter in agreements with higher education institutions for the program. High school teachers become partners with the college instructors attending summer in-service programs. They develop rubrics to assess students together. Higher education instructors at times will visit high schools to observe instruction, and they share instructional strategies. Many high school teachers that I have talked with have commented that their involvement as concurrent enrollment instructors is one of the most helpful professional development and personal growth opportunities available to them. And this is a very successful program, growing to over 30,000 students across the state. The challenge that we're having right now is that in 2014, the Higher Learning Commission, which is the accrediting agency for Minnesota higher education institutions, made a decision that high school instructors must have a master's degree in the content area of the course they are teaching for college credit, or a minimum of 18 credits towards such a degree. The majority of teachers in Minnesota earn a master's degree in education, which is designed to develop better teachers rather than content experts. High school teachers must meet this credentialing requirement by 2023 in order to teach courses for college credit. And without credentialed teachers in our high schools, we cannot offer the courses to students. To assess teachers in complying with this requirement, the legislature in the past has provided funding to higher education institutions to assist teachers through reduced tuition costs. This past year, 200 teachers registered for the fall academic term, 200 for the winter term, and 300 for the summer term. Unfortunately, currently, these funds have been exhausted. And the A9 amendment allows greater flexibility for the Office of Higher Education to use existing funds for concurrent enrollment grants. If you look at the amendment, lines 1.15 through 1.30 identifies how grant funds may be used. Special attention to lines 1.26 through 1.30, items 3 and 4 address the special teacher needs. These grants may be used to expand programs currently at capacity. They can develop new course options. They can expand current enrollment options. And they can create online tracks specifically for high school teachers to meet the credentialing requirement or to supplement high school teacher tuition support for graduate courses. There is an ongoing allocation for concurrent enrollment. It's found on line 46 in the finance spreadsheet that we just went through. It's $680,000 for the biennium. And again, what this would do would allow greater flexibility for the Office of Higher Education to use some of those funds to help teachers reach the credentialing requirement. I would like to turn your attention, I put together a little chart that has every senator on the committee, and it identifies the school districts in which you serve, and it also looks at the number of students that are involved in the program. And it really varies. For instance, Senator Tomassoni, the top district is Hibbing, 281 students, and that is a duplicated count, earned 892 college credits. Just think of the advantage that is for a student that's going to college. They've saved some money because this is not a cost to the students. It's supported by the state. And we found that this actually is very beneficial to students and actually graduating early. You look at my district, and My background, as many of you know, as a high school principal, I was a strong supporter of this. 2019, we had 1,707 students earning 7,211 credits. Now, that's with 4 comprehensive high schools and the School of Environmental Studies. That district is the 4th largest district in the state of Minnesota, so you're talking 30,000 students. So that gives you a little bit of a content. Senator Jasinski, Owatonna, 1,887 credits earned by 493 students. You look at Senator Goggin, it looks like Red Wing, 318 students earned over 1,000 credits. Senator Putnam in St. Cloud, 1,844 credits by 488 students. And then Senator Rarick, a lot of rural districts in his Senate district, but Cloquet, 576 students earned 1,975 credits. So, Mr. Chair and committee members, not asking for any additional money. All we're looking for is that the Office of Higher Education has greater flexibility, that they can spend money towards providing assistance to teachers in meeting the Higher Learning Commission credentialing requirement. And with that, any questions?
Thank you, Senator Clausen. Any comments, questions from committee members? So, Senator Clausen, I personally support concurrent enrollment courses and PSEO, and I'm very positive that it's really, really important for kids to be able to get these credits because of the cost of college education. Some of them get out of high school, they've completed their first year of college already, and so they have a huge savings. I do know that we have ongoing money, as you pointed out, and I think we spent upwards of $4 million on it. At this time, I'm not going to support this. I think this might be something that the K-12 committee should take a look at and see what that they should be handling this in their funding formula, and I'm just not going to say yes to the amendment at this point in time. So maybe we can work on it further at another date.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I would request a roll call vote.
A roll call has been requested. A roll call will be granted. Any other comments? Seeing none, clerk will take the roll.
Senator Tomassoni.
No.
Senator Clausen.
Yes.
Senator Goggin.
No.
Senator Jasinski.
No.
Senator Putnam.
Yes.
Senator Rarick.
No.
2 yes.
There being
2 yes, 4.
2 ayes and 4 nays, the amendment is not adopted. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none. Senator Rarick moves Senate File 975 as amended. Any comments or final questions?
Mr. Chair, actually, it's the A1 delete all amendment as amended.
All right, so Senator Putnam moves the A1 delete all amendment as amended. Seeing no further comments or questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion is adopted. Thank you all very much. That concludes the committee meeting. I just want to take a moment to thank all the staff, Tricia Lee, Laura Bach, Dave Frazier, Dana Elling, Joan White, and Hannah Grunwald. Thank you for your help in putting this together, and I want to thank all the committee members for helping us get through this today and doing our job, and thank you for the people who all testified. All right, let's go back and do that again. We have to move into finance. So, Senator Rarick moves that the A1 delete all amendment as amended be recommended to pass and be re-referred to the Committee on Finance. There we go. Right? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Motion is adopted. Thank you all very much. And once again, thank you to all the testifiers. And I realize we got a ways to go before we get to the finish line. And thank you all very much. And the meeting is adjourned.